just came out 9 months ago, 8 months ago, and it allows you to test your body for any cancer in your body. And so why is that important? Well, because the National Cancer Institute did a study and they found that if you get diagnosed at stage 2, stage 3 or 4, you have an 80% chance of dying. I prefer I have a 20% chance of living and figuring that out. But their point is well made, it's hard to turn around. If you get it at stage 1 or 2, you have an 80 to 99.9% chance of living. So with cancer, it's gonna affect most people in their lifetime. To be able to do a quick blood test and or an MRI for those pieces and know exactly what's going in your body is amazing. We had a gentleman that came to one of our centers, and he had already had his physical, and his wife said, I want you to have the very best. And he's like, I've already done. He had a really negative attitude about it, which we understood. And one of the docs said, listen, let's do the GRAIL test on you. He'd already had urinalysis, blood tests, traditional physical, and the guy ended up having bladder cancer. Wow. But it was really early stage.
You caught it early, right.
So it was a 20-minute outpatient procedure. He has no cancer. If he wouldn't have caught it, you got a real problem. Another one is, it's called a CCTA scan. It's brand new. It's one of my doctor friends, one of my partners in one of my businesses called me up and he says, Tony, and he's like Mr. Understated. He built 12 hospitals and then he sold them because he wants to be in prevention and regeneration. And he says, Tony, there's been one of the greatest breakthroughs in cardiology that I've seen in the last 10 years. You got to come check it out. What is it? He goes, when a doctor does a CT scan, usually you don't get that unless you've got a problem. There's a lot, it's hard to read those scans. They're very gray. If you're very skilled, you'll still miss it. But there's this new scan now that uses AI, and it literally opens every artery in your body, because what they're looking for is soft plaques. Soft plaques can break off, and it's called the widowmaker, give you a heart attack or a stroke. And it happens to people now 35, 40 years old. It's happening younger and younger because of the lifestyles that we've taken on. But what's interesting is hardened calcium, which is what they see when they do just a traditional steam, is healed. So I heard about it, said I'm gonna go do the scan, and I took my father-in-law with me because he's 80 years old, and people around you when you get older start saying you should organize your affairs, and I could just see his energy drop. He's a great guy. Anyway, I took him, did the scan. He's perfect. He's absolutely perfect. And his entire attitude changed. Plus, we have the stuff we do for a lot of the great athletes think their career's over, where they scan an area where you've had an injury, and they use ultrasound. And then they use this fluid, amnio fluid, and they open up the channel so that a nerve that's been trapped or some area heals. It heals in minutes. And so my father-in-law also had this hip problem. He healed his hip problem in 30 minutes. His heart's perfect. We get on the airplane on the way home, and he looks at me and he goes, Tony, these people that talk about living 110, 120, I don't know about that, but I could live another 20 years. I got a great heart.